Doing a little winter job here. It's late autumn going into winter. These are our pyramid pear trees. A little bit of information about these trees. I think it was about 5 years ago I planted them. In this area that I'm standing here, it's I suppose about 100 yards long and about 30, maybe 25 yards across. I don't know the accurate measurements here. We had a lot of Bramley and sunset apples. We had made error of judgment. We were growing more of these than we could sell. So people kept asking us for pears. While I'm here, I'll just have a quick look at the espaliers, which are in this section. It's some damson plums. Here's our espaliers. Now, we never intended to grow pears. We never did intend, but we did grow this row of espaliers, about which I have said a bit, and I will say more later. Here's our espaliers, just for ourselves. I mean, one particularly, I think we had about 15 kilograms of Beurre Hardy, a lovely pear, but once it's properly ripe it will not keep. So we thought, we're not going to eat these before they go mushy, so let's take them to market. They flew off the shelves. People kept asking us, oh, got any more pears, got any more pears? So we thought, tell you what, although it hurt us to do it, and it took a lot of effort to do it, I got a group of friends in, and we did a charity fundraiser. I paid people money to help dig all these trees out. There were some mature Bramley apples here. They were good, sound, strong, young trees, and they were growing very well. It was heartbreaking to cut them down and dig them out. Nevertheless, that's what we did. And I planted 30 pear trees instead, and they have grown marvellously. Marvellously. I mean, look at this. That's a little bit of growth this year. Fruit bud on the tips, fruit bar, fruit spurs, fruit bud, fruit bud, fruit bud, fruit bud. As it happens, this year they didn't grow much because we had a problem with the spring. What happened in spring, I just talk while I'm talking, was a very late spring, and the conditions just were not very good for setting fruit. So the only fruit that did set ripened very well. Regrettably, not much fruit set. Not a disaster, because the trees have consolidated themselves and made a lot of growth. And what I'm doing at the moment is removing these stakes. Now, I had intended to grow these as fully as supported pears, with strings holding up the weight of fruit. As you can see here, for example, with a heavy weight there, supported by sort of maypole type arrangement. However, it's a bit inconvenient, really. It's a lot of management issues, and these stakes, just carefully put the knife away without cutting myself. Incidentally, this is a Mora clipper knife. Extremely good value. Very, very well made knife. It was about £15. You probably have to pay £150 to get a knife that was significantly better than this, and even then it would mainly be the cosmetics probably. So Mora, M-O-R-A, made in Sweden. Outstandingly good utility general purpose knife. Cheap as chips. Anyway, sorry, these have rotted, as you see. So we've decided to, and we're going to keep them as pyramids, unless I change my mind. But no, I intend to keep them as pyramids, but I think that they are now probably strong enough to look after themselves without stakes. So what I'm doing, I'm going around taking these stakes out carefully, because Julie gets cross with me when I leave things lying around. So she's told me very much. I've got all of the ties and the strings and the cloth. These are old, made from a torn up old pair of denim trousers, and they've actually worked very well. Put them all in there and they can be disposed of. And I'm just doing a little, I'm filming with one hand, tool in the other, so I'm just digging around them a little bit. And these, maybe we'll get some dung later in the winter, perhaps. Anyway, so yeah, a bit of weed. I'm gonna just whack that weed down. So these poles, they were chestnut. They weren't treated, and they've rotted pretty much. The the incredibly wet last year didn't help a lot. You see this fungus growing out the side of it. They're all snapping off. So I'm going to see how these go. These were fully supported. I'm going to see how they go without the support. And you see these were going to fall off anyway. So these are never be any use to anything except one thing. Got about 30 nice, solid, dried out chestnut poles. Going to make a big wigwam with them in the middle of our wassail bonfire, of which more later, hopefully. So here we are. What's my favourite time of year? Spring, summer, autumn. Not really winter, but the winter comes, so we have to make the best of it. And outdoor work is good. If, like me, you get a bit depressed in the winter, find some outdoor work to do, or go fishing.